Nitena. Nenena watendo katapena. My name is Stephen Oldman, Senior. I live in Harbor Springs, Michigan. I grew up on the Arapaho Reservation. I just would like to offer my condolences to the family, Paul Joe, my uncle, and my aunts, and the rest of the family that he left behind. Right now I'm feeling pretty bad myself, but I'm going to try to tell you about my life growing up with Paul Joe, my grandpa Ernest and my grandma Nellie. My grandpa Ernest was the chief of police on a reservation as far as I could know when I was small. Me and Paul Joe and Junior grew up together. Of course, we had Carol and Teresa and Daryl and Darlene and Catherine, Patty. But mainly me and Paul Joe and Junior around together when we was younger. We, like normal kids, rode bikes and played basketball and football. And every Saturday, my grandpa Ernest would take us to town for the matinee on Saturday. And he'd pick us up after and bring us home on Sundays. We went to church. My grandpa Ernest dumped us off at the church and we went to church. Paul Joe and Junior were altar boys. I wasn't, because I wasn't baptized and wasn't a Catholic, so I couldn't do any of that. But after church, he would pick us up again. We'd go back home. In the meantime, I would go back to my house at night with my grandpa and grandma, Jason Barney, old man, my grandma Virginia. My grandma Virginia and Nellie, my grandma Nellie, my grandpa and his wife were sisters. And that's how I used to go over and watch my grandpa Ernest's TV, because we never had one. In the meantime, I would play with Junior and Paul Joe. Anyway, as we were growing up, I lost track. And we went fishing and hunting when we was young. I remember shooting my first deer when I was 11 years old with my grandpa Ernest and my dad, Larry Oman. Me and Junior and Paul Joe were in back, and I shot my first deer. And I was proud. And we brought it home, and my grandma Virginia said I had to eat the heart raw. And I told her I'd rather have it cooked, but I ate it. I took a bite of it. And then she said that you're going to be a good hunter when you grow up. Since then, I was growing up, I hunted and fished for my brothers and sisters so we could have something to eat in the wintertime. And as we went to school, I went to school in first and second grade at St. Stephen's with Paul Joe and Junior and my other cousins and uncles. Then I transferred over to Arapaho Public School. I went to school up there. On weekends, I would see Paul Joe and Junior again, and they'd ask me about this and that and everything, and I would tell them. And then when we got older, in high school, Paul Joe was playing football, and he was real good. He was coached by Philip Warren and Father Zumak. And for 4 years there, he was a really good football player. And Junior was a good football player too. He played in the parochial schools in Casper. Junior did in junior high. And my grandpa Ernest would take me with him, and I went and watched him. And in high school, I was a freshman, and we played basketball. And I played the JV with Paul Joe. And it was really good in them days because we had love and respect for one another. We was poor, but I thought everybody'd be poor. And we when I went to school in Flandreau. After that, then I lost track of Paul Joe, but I still met them on in the summertime. We lost Junior when I was 15 years old, and Edward Paul and his family, my grandpa Ernest Grummanell, my Aunt Teresa and Carol, Daryl, Darlene, Patty, and Catherine. And upon graduation, in Flandreau, I left and went down to Haskell. Paul Joad went to the service, United States Army. I met him a couple years later, and he was awarded the Medal of Honor. He was awarded the Purple Heart because he got wounded in Vietnam, and his leg always bothered him, even to this day. He's bothered him. But I just wanted to tell you guys the story about my Uncle Paul Joe. I wish I could be there, but due to the epidemic, I can't, and financially. Michigan is 5 states away and 2 big waters, Mississippi and Missouri. And it's kind of hard for me to be traveling too, because I'm kind of getting old too myself. But I just wanted to say these few words about my uncle and his family, and my grandpa Ernest, my grandma Nellie. Maybe someday, when it's time for me to go, I'll see him again, and that's it now, Bethan. Oh.